on the streets of love, where the shadows grow. The faces tell stories only time could know. Brick by brick, dreams rise and fall. In the quiet of the night, I hear it all. Oh, the streets of love, they hold us tight through the darkest days into the light. This country and land, it's where we stand. We are champions, hand in hand. Children's laughter echoes down the lane. Through joy and sorrow, sunshine and rain, flags wave high in the morning breeze, a promise.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HAFEZ TV. I'm your host, HAFEZ, and we're doing another live from the boudoir, as you will. I am literally in a in my bedroom. It's just in a bedroom, shall we say, not my bedroom. I'm not at my home studio, but um, I think this aesthetics is a little bit better. But I apologize for the blurry green screen effect because, well, as I said, I'm not in my home studio. So I hope I can be heard at least. Hold on. Yep, sounds good. Restore UK. There's a person already in the chat called Restore UK. I'm very quiet. I am very quiet. Okay, let me see if we can. Okay, how about now? How about now? How about now? Hear me now, hear me now, hear me now. Hear me now. Um, that actually is better this way, but I need to have this thing closer to my mouth and up here. Hold on. Let me see if I can get something to remedy this. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing technical difficulties again. Okay. Well, it looks like we may have to do it like this. Bear with me. Bear with me. Yeah, it's closer. It's closer. I just gotta see if I can somehow get this. Bear with me. Okay, this all went through smoothly as expected, as usual. Okay, we're sticking this in front of our mouth, such as I said, I'm not home, so we're gonna have to improvise. We're gonna have to work with improvised equipment, boys and girls. Um, okay, that sounds better. I've turned it up as well, but unfortunately, I can't control the gain on this thing. It auto controls the gain, so it may lower it again at a later time. I don't know. But for now, we're going with this. We're going with this, boys. Let's do this thing. Okay, guys and girls, what are we doing? We're doing this. Well, what are we doing? This bad boy, this chap who is not the Messiah, but he's a very naughty boy, decided to launch his own party over the last couple of days, and it has caused quite a hullabaloo, if you will, on the conservative side of politics. Now, I've always said and I've always maintained that I am at heart a liberal individual. I like liberties. Maybe I'm not a liberal in the sense of, maybe I'm more of a libertarian, but I certainly love liberties and freedom, and that is precisely what I advocate for everyone in the world, and especially the people of Iran. So Javid Shah, and let's hope those guys get their freedoms. But oh, here comes Mr. Hassan. Vote England for Russian waste pipeline. Oh, Hassan, you are you're a charming devil. But yeah, so hold on a minute. I apologize. I actually wanted this shared. What's this? Here we are. I wanted this screen to be shared. We got the other screen to be shared. Oh, come on, man. Could you work with me here? There we go. I preferred it more this way than that way, shall we say. Um, hmm. Okay. Looks like we'll do it like this. There we go. Okay. We're finally capable of actually doing this. UK is losing it. Well, Mr. Weird, I believe Indian lettering. I think those might be Indian lettering. I don't know. Mr. Seven at seven. I don't share your. I don't share your sentiments, and it looks like yeah, we have some haters. Our haters are in. Mr. Seven. He says Javid Shah from Israel. No, we want to work with Israel. Unlike, so what you guys don't realize is that we love Israel. We love hit them. We love Netanyahu. We love the IDF, and we are going to work with them, and we're going to have lots of beautiful Israeli Iranian children forever and ever and ever. Hey, Mr. Oliver. Good to see you. Good to see everyone, by the way. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about obviously the new Restore Britain party that has been launched by Rupert Lowe. As you can see on the screen, he's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. And a lot of people are outraged and pissed at the fact that this man is decided to launch this party, and they're bitching and complaining about how he's going to divide the right. But let's be honest, people just don't trust Nigel Farage. They never have, and I don't think they ever will. Nigel Farage, with him basically being the halfway house, or the orphans house of conservatives, by the looks of it, he's just basically just ushering in all the conservatives. Now, I have my worries, and my worries are as such: the fact that here we are at a precipice of breaking the two-party system. This could be the age in which, or the generation that breaks the two-party monopoly, or the duopoly, that the stranglehold that these two parties have upon the British people. We're on that verge of breaking away from conservative Labour, conservative Labour, to something new, something different, something hopefully better. But on that same precipice, you are on the verge of breaking the two-party system, which has lasted literally hundreds of years in this country. But you also want to have a third brand new party introduced into this mix. Now, if reform can take away the majority from Labour and actually become a British party, a party that was only, conceived a few years ago and managed to break the back of Conservatives and Labour and actually be elected as a majority party. That in itself is a feat of magnitudes in which people can't fathom, because the first past the post process in this country is a rigged system. Believe it or not, it is rigged for the two-party system, and the two parties have been well and truly bought and paid for by powers that be. So to break that in itself is a magnanimous feat. But on top of that, we've got things like Rupert Lowe and others who are trying to take a piece of that. I am very concerned that this whole process is going to end up with a Labour majority government, or a Labour government again. We can't afford a second election government. That's my concern. So I've laid my concerns out that we shouldn't in any way even contemplate anything like a second Labour government. But having said that, winning the race to the bottom, yeah. Well, there you go. It seems there's lots of things. Prince Andrew for MP. Innocent Pizza Express. Hashtag Pizza Express. God damn, Ollie. Oh, by the way, Ollie, I watched that sort of blood sports debate, whatever that you were on with Andrew Wilson. That was very interesting. And it was weird that he wouldn't actually give a straight answer to what would it look like when if people who uh, if voting rights were taken away from everyone and only certain people were allowed to vote, which kind of people would be allowed to vote? Andrew just didn't really answer that, pretended that he answered it, but he didn't answer it. The only answer he gave was give it back to the states, which was a bit weird. Anyway, I would love to talk to you about that. So if you are up for that, let me know. But first, I'm going to get through this Rupert Lowe thing. I'm already 12 minutes in and I haven't even started. So Rupert Lowe, he started this party. Lots of people are chuffed. A lot of people are on excited. They've managed to get a 50,000 membership. Although the membership is actually £20 a membership, which I think I'm going to partake myself. I probably I'm gonna sign up. 20 quid is Christ, it's barely a couple of pints these days. So yeah, I'm gonna throw in a couple of quid their way and just see. Just for this, to be honest with you, just for the lols. Even if it just means pissing off a bunch of libs. If they can make it to 100,000 before the end of the month, that will make the 20 quid membership worth it. It will be worth just to see the mainstream media libs explode. I want to see like Emily, whatever her name is, one of these BBC, women and Channel 4 presenters. Just I want their heads just explode on camera, like that scene from that movie about brain people, Scanners. If you've ever seen the movie Scanners, I just want one of their presenters just go. Restore Britain made 100,000 membership in a month. it would be so. I would in fact not only throw in 20 quid for myself, I would make a couple of my family members members of of Restore Britain, if I could be assured that a Channel 4 presenter would have his head would just through the sheer anger and pressure, their heads would simply explode on camera. It would make it worthwhile. It would make it worthwhile every penny. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fiddling around with this Dawn thing because I hope the sound is good because I don't know if it's close enough or not. I think it is. Anyway, and you see it's close enough, but it's also covering my face, my beautiful, beautiful face. Okay, so let's see. I want to see the video that Lowe released. Let's start with that. Now, unfortunately, my Twitter isn't working, so I'm going to have to play the Asmongold version of his party political broadcast. Now, Asmongold is some nerd in America who just plays video games and he does some political commentary. I've been watching a lot of his stuff, but for some unfathomable reason, he's responding to Rupert Lowe's party. So this has penetrated a lot of like things, a lot of areas in which normally wouldn't. Now the reason I have to play this because my Twitter isn't loading this video right now. I can't seem to find. I can't actually load. It's crapping out on the on loading. I don't know whether it's my system or it's Twitter itself, but Twitter is giving me messages of not being able to load this. So I had to do it through YouTube, and Asmongold was the first that I found that actually played the party message. So let's listen to that. Let me know, guys, if you don't hear it.
I can find it. I ain't seen this at all. I'm launching the wait. This is 126,000 likes.
Asmongold is a
I've
guilty
chosen to
pleasure.
speak to you today from the farm because places like this represent what proper Britain is about. Hard work, responsibility, effort, duty, stewardship. This is the England I know.
You guys can hear it, right? Just give me like a 21, 11, something, a hint.
And this is the England
Thank you, Ollie. And yes, Asmongold is a guilty pleasure.
that I love.
I really gotta say, this is absolute aura. He's not even. He's just wearing normal clothes.
On a farm,
This is big.
you don't think in election cycles or headlines or polling. You think in seasons. You think in generations. In what you leave behind.
Yeah, I don't know what Americans think, but not all Britons just have horses. Okay, we don't just have horses. he's not just a normal guy. I mean, the clothing he's wearing is probably worth someone's monthly wage, although it looks like a common man's outfit. But no, those jackets cost a fortune, and yeah, horses cost a lot. People just don't just have horses. I'm sure every cowboy in America has a horse somewhere, but in Britain, yeah, you got to be fairly high up on the rankings to just have a stable.
To those who come after you. And that's why, here on the farm, I am now launching Restore Britain as a national political party. I'm now going to dedicate my life to finding, organising, funding, and providing hundreds of qualified candidates to present to the British people at the next general election. This process has already started, with invitations being issued to patriots in aligned political parties.
Patriots.
Reform,
It's a big word.
Conservatives, the SDP, Advance, and more. In local politics, we will work in partnership with localised political parties, such as Great Yarmouth First, that have the best interests of their residents at heart, combining our forces at the next general election.
All right.
The men and women standing for Restore in that election will not be politicians. I promise you that.
Oh wow.
They will not be failed ministers. I
wonder who he's talking about.
Tainted by failures of the past.
I wonder who he's
they will
talking
be
about.
From business.
Who he's talking about? He's talking about conservatives and reform. The fact that all the conservatives are pulling the ejector cord and going straight into and parachuting into reform. Of course, but the problem is you're not going to have politicians, sure, but you're also going to have people of questionable experience or questionable name recognition. You got to realize this is a popularity contest. This isn't real democracy anymore. We haven't had a real democracy probably in the best part of like 50 years. This is a popularity contest now, and that's why Trump won. That's why TV stars and movie stars get better chances of running for elections than politicians, unknown people of good character, and people that what's it called, that are businessmen or who actually know what the hell is going on in the world. most of them, they don't get anywhere because it's a popularity contest.
From the military, from science, from medicine, from education, from industry, representing real communities up and down the country. Every single one will be from well outside the existing political establishment, and every single one will understand the difficult decisions that need to be taken.
Oh boy.
Because there are
Like
no
what?
easy fixes. I'm not going to tell you comforting lies about the condition of our country. I have only ever been honest with the British people, and I will be straight with you now. What is necessary will be incredibly painful.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, Asmongold is impressed, clearly, and I'm impressed. I'll be honest. I like Rupert. I think he's a genuinely, from a very long time, and actually genuinely a guy who cares. He's a Trumpian kind of character. He genuinely cares for the people of this country. I believe that he does. I think he doesn't need the money. He could, you know. I'm pretty sure he's pissed at all the tax hikes because that's what's probably crushing him too. But the fact is that, you know, he's a genuinely through and through Englishman and a patriot of this nation. But that's not enough these days. That's my concern, is that is not it enough. Now I'm sure you guys are going to see this party political broadcast anyway. If not, go to Twitter, Rupert Lowe, and the Restore Party, and you'll be able to get the rest of it. I don't want to harp on that as much as I want to get to the next video, which unfortunately, again, I had to find another Twitter account to do it, which is Paul Thorpe's channel. Obviously, another very large YouTuber, quite good at the stuff that he does. Actually, just before I play that one, I want to play this. Where is it? This one, because this one is actually more interesting. This chap, by the way, he's an actual small YouTuber. He only has 243 now. He was only at 100 and something before this video was made, and I'm glad that he's made it, because I thumbed him up. Go to his channel and subscribe. It's Saxon Thor is the name of the channel, Saxon Thor. And I'm going to actually post the link for this video. Go to his channel and give him a sub after you watch my video. But he did a real great clip of Richard Inman losing it a little bit because of the announcement of Restore.
Mealy mouth, pussyfooting about. Rupert has done something absolutely unforgivable, and he needs to wind his neck in. Why do it?
Convicted Sri Lankan sex offender allowed to stay in Britain and would be at risk of persecution if he was returned to his home country. I don't care. A Jamaican drug was jailed twice, allowed to stay in Britain after claiming his removal would breach his right to a family life. I don't.
Right? What Rupert has done is cynical. It's driven by ego. And this is a man. Listen, yes, again, I know people that were friends of mine that were involved in giving evidence of that grooming inquiry. Kudos for that. That's fine. But if his actions now stop Advance becoming a party that will get, now I don't think they will. I think Advance will prevail, and I think Rupert will be seen. Rupert will be seen, as Donald Trump always calls their enemies, Rupert will be seen as one of the biggest losers in British politics because he's backed the wrong horse.
Now, this is unfortunately where I think Richard is going to have to start eating humble pie, because I'll show you the next video after this.
Explain the reason why ethno-nationalism won't work. Even if ethno-nationalism was morally right, but it's also morally wrong, because it's racism. I met Connor Tomlinson at that Advance thing. He was sent by Rupert to spy, him and some other guy, sent to spy at the Advance thing, right? And Connor Tomlinson said to me, "Oh, all politics is identity politics. Not on our watch, mate. Not on our watch. No, because our politics is a politics of genuine inclusion, irrespective of color or creed, right? That's what the politics that Advance is promoting. And
I don't care. A Zimbabwean jailed for killing a man in a car crash, allowed to stay in Britain after it was...
Okay. I mean, he's gonna show a whole bunch of clips of Rupert Lowe essentially being extremely based about migrants and the crimes that they're committing. But that's again not what I'm interested in. What I was interested in was the clip where Richard Inman was like losing his mind because he said he's gonna take away votes from Advance. But unfortunately, Richard was a little slow. A little quick off the mark on that one, because he didn't realize that Advance UK with Ben Habib, because Ben Habib, again, these are real patriots. These people didn't come into politics to make money or have some sort of their ego stroked at the autumn years of their life. No, they came into politics because they give a shite about this country and they want this country to be better. And to literally restore Britain to its former glory, which is a monumental task, by the way. These people are choosing to climb Everest. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you guys at all. I've been saying it for decades. To turn this country around is like trying to turn a juggernaut ship, one of those airplane carriers. You're not going to just do it on a whim. It's going to take a while. It may not even be done within this generation. It may take a couple of generations. But if you start the turning around process, at least you've started the process. But the fact is that because Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe actually want to fix this country and not for any personal gain, this is why honorable men do what they do. This is the way you would behave if you cared about your country and not about your ego being stroked. I'd just like to play this.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at what Ben had to say first.
Good morning, folks. What a night it's been. I'm utterly delighted that Rupert Lowe has decided to convert Restore Britain to a political party. It is a new political force that can deliver change at the ballot box that this country so desperately needs. And that is why I set up Advance UK last year. Indeed, when I set it up with Rupert Lowe contemplated as leader. So I am over the moon that he has come round to sharing my view that a new political force, one that can deliver change at the ballot box, is what is required. And for those of you who've seen Rupert's piece to camera that he did announcing his intention to convert Restore Britain to a political party, and have also seen my speech last week in the Emmanuel Centre, you'll know there's very little, if any, difference between the ideology that Rupert carries and the ideology of Advance UK and myself. You would probably also have heard me say a number of times that the time between now and 2028, 2029, when that general election is called, needs to be used for the so-called right-hand side of British politics to come together to make the arguments that are required to be made to save our wonderful country and to win that debate with the British people. Rupert's decision to convert Restore Britain to a political party is part of the coming together, part of that necessary evolution on the so-called right-hand side of politics, bringing the United Kingdom back onto its feet. And with that in mind, I'm going to be calling a meeting of the College of Advance UK, the body of people who are charged with the guidance of our party, the heart, soul, conscience, intellectual ballast, if you like, of Advance UK. I'm going to be calling a meeting of that body of people in the next few weeks to determine the terms on which Advance will merge with Restore Britain. And when it comes to the terms of the merger between Advance UK and Restore Britain, I want to make one thing clear. It matters not what my position is post any such merger. I didn't get into politics in order to politically advance myself. I got into politics.
There you go. There you go. These are men of. I'm going to say it. These are men of conviction. These are men of principle. You may like them. You may not like them. I don't know what your feelings are towards Ben Habib or Rupert Lowe, but this is how a men of conviction and men of principle should sound. The minute Rupert Lowe announced that he's going to launch a political party, he's no longer going to just have a pressure group or a lobbyist group as far as Restore is concerned. Ben Habib was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I've got a party already, in the box, ready to go. So let's merge them together, because there's a few bits and bobs that Rupert Lowe hasn't done yet. As far as Javed Shah Payman, yeah, there's a few things that he hasn't done as far as setting up the party in the correct sort of manner. I think some of the logistical paperwork or whatever it is, whilst Ben Habib has already done that with Advance. They're just going to merge the two parties, maybe have a single, probably call it Restore Britain, because that's what everybody wants, and then push forward with the memberships of Restore as well as the membership of Advance, who's already in the 40,000, but it took him a month for Advance UK to get 40,000 subscriptions, memberships, whilst it took Rupert Lowe Restore to like 2 days. I think it's like 48 hours, something like that, to get 50,000 memberships. There are 50,000 memberships already, and the weekend has just gone by. So I think personally they'll be at about 100,000 before the end of the month. I personally would. I'm going to throw in it's 20 quid a membership, guys. Christ, in London, if you live in London, 20 quid is literally nothing. It's a couple of pizzas at best. So yeah, just throw in, like, just do it. If you've never been a member of a political party, this is the time to do it. Throw in 20 quid. If nothing else, just to see the libs on the mainstream news, Channel 4 and BBC, and have their heads explode. I want some of them to literally have a heart attack if Restore reaches 100,000 before the end of the month. I want some of them to literally clinch their heart on Question Time and keel over. It would be worth that. It would be worth it. Oh, it would. So yeah, let's see some libs. Let's just do it for the ownage of libs alone. It's worth getting 100,000 members of Restore. So anyway, but this is how men should behave. This is how adults should behave. This is Ben Habib saying, look, I'm happy to step aside. I don't even want a position within Restore. I just want Rupert Lowe as the head of it, because he's the president that we need. He's the prime minister that we want, and he's the prime minister that we need, to be perfectly frank, if it can happen. If it can happen. I mean, don't get me wrong. These people have chosen to climb Everest. I'm saying it again. They have a monumental task ahead of them, to be a party that emerges only a few years before a general election and then becomes the overwhelming majority party to win government, to become the government. That is a unbelievably large, huge task in Britain, especially in the first past the post system. So if they can pull that off, that would be amazing. But if anything else, they will be the lobbyist pressure group that will pull reform further towards the right, towards conservatism. Because right now they're barely centrist. Let's be honest, they are barely touching the center ground. So if Restore can pull reform further conservative, further towards the right, that's a job well done in itself. So we'll see.
To save this country, to do it in a serious, principled way, a way that will sustain this country into the years, centuries ahead as a secure country, never again being threatened by the forces with which it's currently being threatened. So it's not about me. Frankly, it's not even about Rupert Lowe. It's about getting the right force in politics together, and that's what we will do. I am 100% certain we will achieve that. Advance UK already has very nearly 40,000 members. dozens of councillors across the country, a national network of regional directors and branches springing up. We have the ability to campaign nationally, and of course we are already registered with the Electoral Commission. So we can accelerate the development of this new force that is now emerged on the right-hand side of British politics. We can put it on the map in double quick time, absolutely ready to fight the general election, even if it comes early in 2028, but certainly by 2029. Now, as many of you will know, we are already in the midst of a by-election in Gorton and Denton, where our excellent candidate Nick Buckley is standing. And what I would urge is, whether you're a member of Restore Britain or Advance UK, frankly, it doesn't matter which party you're a member of, because inevitably this party is going to come together as one unified force. Whichever party you're a member of, get behind Nick Buckley now. Let's deliver for Restore Britain, for Advance UK, its first MP into Parliament. Let's send a seismic shock through the political system by doing something that's never been done before. A new political force returning an MP within 6 months of having announced itself into Parliament. We will have not just Rupert Lowe then as a parliamentarian, we'll no doubt get others joining Rupert in Parliament, but we will have our first elected MP on this ticket. It will be phenomenal. So as I say, whether you're Restore Britain, Advance UK or both, let's now get behind Nick Buckley. Let's win that by-election in Gorton and Denton. And having won that by-election, let's now stand together for the United Kingdom, for a proud, sovereign, prosperous United Kingdom, giving no quarter to the forces of that liberal global elite that would seek to set aside our country, that would seek to set aside our heritage, our culture, denounce us as a people. The same people who have taken down our borders, committed this country to absolutely absurd economic policies, emasculating its economy on the altar of ideologies which are so desperately damaging to our people. Let's now all come together, stand together, make sure we win this fight for king, for country, for the people of the United Kingdom in all its parts, our heritage, and all its our culture. I denounce do my bit. We now need you to do your bit. All of us must come together. Thank you very much, folks.
Okay, that's the general the general message that I mean, to be honest with you, I most definitely approve that message. For the king, a lot of people are questioning whether the king is still the king of England, and the king of England is still a Christian man, is what a lot of people are questioning. So unfortunately, as far as the king of England is concerned, they may or may not be too chuffed with that guy, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He'll come round. The king of Iran may end up being less of a Muslim than the king of England, ironically. Good afternoon, Lieutenant. Good to see you, my love. Lieutenant or any other admins. John, big up John, by the way. Good to see you. Could someone repost the StreamYard link, because the chat is now open. I'm going to do a little bit of a panel for maybe a half an hour or so, and then that's it. I'm not really running a long stream on this one. I just want mostly this to be about this first section, which is essentially Rupert Lowe launching this party, and some people, which would have been myself. I was actually, when the minute I saw this, I thought to myself that this is going to be another vote siphoner of the right, and they're going to just essentially hand over this next election to a Labour Party, because I thought Rupert Lowe is going to split the vote between Advance, Reform, and now Restore. And of course, UKIP are in the mix there as well. Believe it or not, UKIP hasn't gone anywhere. Even Nick Tanconi has posted like, "Oh, this is just another right-wing party that's going to siphon blah blah blah." I'd be honest. I've been saying it, and I'll say it again. UKIP has no chance UKIP is a non-entity in this game. UKIP has been around for 26 years at least. I think I remember them in the 90s, maybe 26, 27 years, maybe more. And they have achieved nothing. When Nigel Farage left, effectively they died. When Brexit happened, they were over. There's nothing. They've never had a single member of parliament in government in Britain. They've had some MEPs, and that was literally because of Nigel Farage. And then when Nigel Farage left, he decimated them and took all the European members of parliament to the Brexit party with him. Or I mean, he didn't even take anyone. I think they just, on the next election cycle, they just got decimated. No one from UKIP won a single member of European Union, and normally those were the easy ones. That's why UKIP used to win them with Nigel Farage, because they were the easy ones to win. And yeah, UKIP is a non-entity. UKIP is not a player on this board. They are just a side character. they're an NCP in this game. They're not part of the action. I'm over the moon. I want to be able to feed people. Good man. Well done. Yeah, Dan. I mean, yeah, you're right. By the way, Dan posted, does anyone think that a country that can't actually have its own farming and its own what was it? Who here believes we can kill farming and rely on imports? No, you have to be out of your cotton picking mind. If anyone in this planet thinks that you can destroy your farming industry and just live on other people growing food for you, you have to be insane if you think that is the way to go, to destroy you. The fact that since the time of Margaret Thatcher, and that's the only real gripe I have with Margaret Thatcher, although I'm a somewhat of a Thatcherite myself, is the fact that she destroyed the primary industries in this country. And we're barely holding on to the steel industry. We barely trying to get, keeping that going. Everything else has died. This country became a service tertiary, essentially, industry country for best part of like 30, 40 years now. We've practically destroyed all primary and secondary industries. We almost make nothing here, produce nothing. All we have is London and the banking system. You know that most of Britain is essentially ran from London and the banking system. That's what keeps this entire thing going. And the banking system in itself is built on a house of cards. Its foundations are shit. Hello, Woody. Good to see you, man. So yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that they destroyed all avenues of primary and tertiary industries. One of the few primary industries we have is the farming. You are committing literal suicide if you get rid of your farming in your country and you're depending on some other country to feed. Look what happened when they tried to offset their carbon emissions balance by relying on Russian oil. How did that work out for you? Germany, Britain, France. How did that work out for you guys when you decided to offset your carbon emissions because you wanted to be all net zero and green and try to get oil instead of digging up your own oil, instead of producing your own gas and oil and fracking? You shut all those down in order to get your oil and gas from Russia. And now where are you? Now what's going on in your day? Where's your country? At least France had enough of a foresight. They were not completely suicidal. They managed to build a few nuclear power stations in order to keep their shit going. That's why their fuel costs are less than us. We have the most expensive fuel prices in the world. And this country is an oil producing country. Can you believe this? Producing country. And we also have what's it called? We have gas. We have actual gas that they won't frack, they won't exploit, because they've got this insane policy of net zero. This country actually could be as comfortable as the United States when it comes to their fuel prices, but they're not, because we've got morons running this country, hell bent on appeasing Greta Thunberg. Yes, Woody, we're losing our. I'm losing my shit. I'm losing my shit. Let alone these politicians. We've got morons running this country. In all honesty, who could Rupert Lowe put into office, or his cabinet, that's worse than the morons we have now? And I just want to remind you all, David Lammy is the deputy prime minister and the justice minister, and I think there's some other minister. He's got like maybe he had to resign one of his roles. He had 3 roles. David Lammy had 3 ministerial roles in this government, and now he has 2. David Lammy. I swear to God, I could walk down the Strand or Piccadilly Circus and find 12 homeless people that would do a better job in the British cabinet than these morons. That's where we are. I mean, Diane Abbott is still an MP. Diane Abbott, I swear to you, if you guys, I met Diane Abbott like once, actual met, but I've seen Diane Abbott 3 times in London. One time I saw her just outside in London Bridge. She was in London Bridge Station, and I saw her there. Then I saw her outside Downing Street one time. I think it was around the Palestinian protest, and then another Palestinian protest. She walked right in front of me. She just walked by me, and then that was the day I interviewed Jeremy Corbyn. And off camera, I had a little moment of hello, kind of like nodding and hello with Diane Abbott. Diane Abbott is suffering from dementia. My professional opinion as a non-doctor is that Diane Abbott, 100%, he has some sort of dementia or Alzheimer's. She waddles around like she's lost. She literally doesn't know where the F she is 90% of the time, and that's the look she had on her face in King's Cross in London Bridge. When I saw her at London Bridge Station, she looked exactly the same as the 2 other times. She is lost. She's just looking around going, where the F am I today? That woman is a politician in this country. She has the opportunity to make laws in this country. She can pass laws in this country. She doesn't know where the fudge she is half the time. I'm not joking. This is 100%. I've seen her in front of me. She walked by me and she was just dithering around, just lost. She didn't look. There was like the lights were on, but there was no one behind the wheel. That engine was running, but there was no one behind the wheel. I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know. We are currently, there is literally, I would say there is, maybe half a dozen people in this country that are so inbred and so low IQ as shit that Rupert Lowe shouldn't, go anywhere near them. But he can pick literally from about 75% of this country, any random person that runs a freaking burger van could do a better job in the cabinet of this country. So I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think Rupert Lowe is going to be short on picking people to run this country, to find people to run this country. He could literally walk down any street and pick the first 5 homeless people, and they'll do a better job. So that's how it is. That's how it is. This is who we're being run. We're not being ruled by our best, shall we say, boys and girls. We're not being governed by our best. But here's the thing. Here's the thing I wanted to say. By the way, I've opened up the link is in the chat for anyone who wants to jump on and have a chat. I don't know if anyone does. I think it's kind of early in the day, maybe for you guys to do that. Maybe you're just passively listening to this. You know, they say this was one of the. Oh, Lieutenant, good to see you, my love. Love, hold on, let me just bring you up before I say the thing I want to say. Oh, is this working? Yes, it's working. Hello, Lieutenant. How are you, my love?
Hello, good afternoon, Banksy. I'm all right. Yeah, I'm not too bad.
How are you?
You know, the sun is shining. I woke up, it was pretty grey, but I've just looked out there and it's
Oh my God, it's gorgeous now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've been stuck at my mother's because I have to wait for some gas people to do some plumbing, and they've finished. But apparently there might be one or two other guys coming, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer, and then I'm going to go and try to see if I can video some of these Iranian protesters because the weather is like awesome.
Yeah. Finally,
yeah,
it's just rained all weekend.
Oh my God! But the funny thing is, it was beautiful on Saturday when the Iranian protesters were out. It didn't rain one drop.
which is a godsend, I honestly think, you know, because their voices do need to be heard. They should be out there. They're doing it so peacefully that I don't mind if they do that every week for a year, unlike the other group that did for a year that just annoyed every living soul, you know. So yeah, good for the Iranians, man.
Yes. Thank you, Woody. Woody saying I'm listening to you prattle and babble. Well, I was waiting for someone to jump on. But one thing I wanted to say, this was I think one of the I forgot, it was either like Robert Thomas Jefferson or Benjamin Franklin, one of the presidents of the United States, says the man who wants to be president should be the last person that should be elected as president.
Yes.
The one who's dragged kicking and screaming should be the person that should be president. And that is why I want to say that, because I think that is Rupert Lowe in this scenario. This man does not want this job. Yeah. Believe me, he's been fighting it a lot. Because like when Ben Habib said to him, when he started Advanced, he asked Rupert to become the leader of Advance. He literally did. He wanted to create a political party with Rupert Lowe at his head, but Rupert Lowe refused. He was like, "No, I don't think he wanted to do it. I'm telling you, he didn't want to do it." He's like, "This is too much shit. This is a nightmare. All I can barely manage is my own constituency." And maybe he wanted a bit more time to be a bit more of learn about the ways of politics, you know, and to get a bit more familiar as an MP about the machinations of this political sort of system. Maybe that's what it was as well. Maybe he was lacking in confidence.
I think, you know, to be quite honest with you, Rupert Lowe, it has authenticity about him, and there's, you know, Westminster is lacking authenticity, basically. So that's got to be daunting from an authentic person's perspective when they're in that, I would call it a swamp, you know, like you've got a swamp in America. Westminster is a swamp. It's you know, whether it's the press, whether it's the politicians, whether it's the activists, or whether it's just the regular people who are like browbeaten and cooked into all of this wokeism, like this is where it's coming from. You know, it is a swamp. As well as there's some very nice, genuine people in there, but that's got to be daunting to Rupert Lowe. When I'm glad you said that about powerful people, like the one who wants to be in power should never be granted power, because I think of that when I look at Ben Habib, and I think of that when I look at Nick Tenconi. I see them just too gleeful when they're out there campaigning, when they're out there talking. There's something in there. And like Ben Habib, I've seen him flip-flop on Islam, and I've seen him flip-flop with Christianity, that I cannot trust him. Like on such matters like that, that's not politics. That's people's belief systems. How can you flip flop on something like that and expect me to think you're authentic?
Yeah, I have to give it to him though. When he made this move just now, that I played the video where he was more than happy to not even have any position within the next advance. If advance merges with Restore, and essentially they become one party, he said, I don't even want a position. Although I think he might have been maybe saying that for the cameras, but nevertheless, if he is genuine about that kind of thing and he makes that kind of statement that he wants, because he did very quickly announce this almost straight away. This wasn't something that he was thinking. He wants Rupert to be the head of this. I would imagine it's going to be called Restore. I don't think the advanced name will probably just get brushed aside. But he, if he is genuine in what he said, that to me at least shows a level of character and a level of principle that no, I'm not here to have the light upon me. I don't want to stand in the spotlight. I want someone who genuinely can do this, run this, and maybe that's what it was. Because I mean, what you just said was kind of makes me think, because Ben Habib did run for an MP. He lost. He just didn't get elected.
Yeah.
And that's why he lost his seat or his position as the CEO or chairman of Reform. The minute he lost that election, he lost his position because I guess Reform recognized, okay, this guy is not an election winner. If you can't win an election, then you really are not. You don't really have much of a popularity. You're not popular enough, essentially, to be ahead. But then again, Zia Yusuf hasn't won an election. What has he ever won?
I don't know anything about him. No, I mean, going back to Ben Habib, like, I can understand what you're saying. Like, if it proves that he really doesn't want to be the leader, then okay, that proves that he's being honest when he's saying that. But I have to question why, because Muslims, like, when they're getting into power, they're quite tactical in how they do things to gain power and to gain people's favor, if you like. And I do think Muslims, like, I've been reading some articles from the Middle East recently, like within the past couple of weeks, and Muslims are becoming increasingly concerned with how they're seeing things going, whether they have a place in the West or not. And because of things that are being passed through Parliament, like things like Muslims could be asked to leave, or they could be deported because of their citizenship status. They're actually, the vast majority are still guests here. They're not actually
as in they don't actually have like citizenship of that nation. They've got like visas, but not actual citizenship.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so they are increasingly becoming scared. And then last night I saw this video, and it's a recent one, of Mohammed Hijab calling for all Muslims to start assuming that they are the majority, to become more assertive.
Well,
and to gain more powerful positions.
Yeah, in their enclaves, they kind of are. Like, you can go to Bradford or Birmingham, and you'd think this is a Muslim country, but overall, obviously, they're still not. The non-Muslims still have quite a large hand on the wheel, if you like. I mean, the Muslims, even at their maximum, are like 6-7% of the population. So the non-Muslim communities, I'm not even talking about English, so Anglo-Saxons. I'm talking about all
non-Muslims.
Non-Muslims. Essentially, you're talking about your Sikhs, your Hindus, your Buddhists, and Jews, and all the rest. If you combine all of them, then no, this country is still overwhelmingly non-Muslim.
Yes, of course. But he's calling for them to become more aggressive to all non-Muslims as well.
Well, I mean, I've been saying it for years. The Muslims, once they reach 10% plus, you will see a massive change in their aggression and their
Yeah.
behavior.
Yeah.
So that's a given. That's absolutely a given. I was listening to Liam Tuff earlier on today, actually, and he
Okay.
did an interview with a Muslim convert, an English guy who's converted to Islam, kind of like Jordan M. Actually, sounds very much like Jordan M as well.
Okay.
I think he's a Luton lad, and the way this guy was talking about, oh no, but the Muslims are not really ever going to be able to demographically change anything, blah, 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 because they're not having as many kids. Their birth rates are kind of declining as well, and there's always kind of, you know, he's talking about the second, third generations are not having as many kids as like the first immigrant generations of 4 or 5 or 6 kids.
Yeah.
They're only having 1 or 2 kids as well. Now that may be the case. That may be the case because I know that Dubai or Emirate nations are actually suffering from birth rate issues now. Their birth rates have stalled, even though they're very much a Muslim country. But education, women's education, just generally being rich, because having kids is a lot of goddamn work, and it monopolizes your life. And when you have kids, you can't, go places or certain things until the kids are a certain age, this and that, blah, blah, blah. No matter how rich you are. I mean, we're talking middle class. If you're a multi-billionaire and you have 12 nannies, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You can have, 100 kids. But if you're you're earning a couple of $100,000, you live in a comfortable life in Dubai, but no, you don't want to have 4 kids holding you down. You want to go on holidays. You want to do this. You want to do that. And you're not going to be able to get maids and nannies all the time. So even in Dubai, their birth rates have declined a bit. It's not, I mean, nowhere near the West or Japan and South Korea, but it's noticeable. And I think money is actually the key factor here. It's wealth and comfort. People just don't want to be at home, minding 12 kids when you're that. So that there is something, but that's again, I still call BS on that, because I think what people are missing, because Liam Toth was talking about the 79 revolution of Iran and how Iran became an Islamist nation. That is the wrong country to look at when it comes to the model of Britain. You shouldn't be looking at Iran. Iran was already a Muslim nation, Muslim majority nation, and it simply flipped from a secular society to an Islamic society. And the mullahs enforced Islamic law much more harshly, but it was already a Shia stronghold. It's been like that for the best part of 1,000 years or so. So it wasn't that Iran flipped from non-Muslim to Muslim. It flipped from secular Islam or secular Islamic society to a harsh conservative Islamic society. The country that Britain should be looking at is what happened to Lebanon. Lebanon is the example for the West to be looking at, the Western nations, because Lebanon was a Christian Middle Eastern country that invited, out of the goodness of their heart, a shitload of Palestinian refugees and other refugees from other parts of the Muslim world to settle in Lebanon, thinking that they were just simply going to live alongside with their Muslim brethren. Hell, the Lebanese even speak Arabic. So it's just as good, right? Christians living alongside with Muslims, the golden age of Islam.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But what they found was, no, the Muslims outbred the Christians and then dominated the country. And now it's a de facto Islamic nation, although they still have the constitution still says that their president has to be a Christian because the prime minister is a Muslim. So they have to have that division amongst the constitution. But once the Muslim population overwhelms the Christians, and they're literally going around killing them and displacing them, they'll just change that. The constitutions are just pieces of paper after all. It's not like they're carved into some adamantium. They can be changed.
Yeah.
They can be discarded.
Exactly, and we're seeing in our country, in the UK, we're seeing increasingly more and more Muslims are gaining positions of power, like as in corporations, like say
Yes.
Sainsbury's and places like that. And of course, we know how that they work with politicians, and we've got them coming into positions of power and influence in politics as well. And we're even having discussions about the age of consent, and we're having the discussions about whether you should be able to have relationships with your first cousins and things like stuff that we are seeing in Birmingham is causing a lot of health problems, intergenerational health problems, right?
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah,
that
yeah.
we know about and got rid of like eons ago. It's now the medieval times are back,
It's coming
just like
back.
that. Yeah, just because they're gaining a bit more power. And go like how this ties in with my view of Ben Habib, because he flip flops on Islam, because I've witnessed him when he spoke to the Oxford the Oxford Union. I saw him lie about Islam. I saw him lie about the contents of the so-called Quran, which we know is Ravayat, not Quran. And, he lied. He was dishonest about that to students, right? To minds that are like sponges as well as they think critically, right? They're still young, developing minds. He lied to them. What else won't he lie about? And he was on the side of the aisle in which they were arguing that Islam is incompatible with the West, with democracy. Okay. So he was arguing for that position, but he ended up doing that position no good. So I thought, well, if he's going to get into politics and he's saying, oh, yes, Islam needs to change and all of this, how do we not know that he's going to change on that and then all of a sudden be heavy handed with Sharia law and whatnot? So I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all. And with regards to Nick Tenconi, I would say that he's more of a works-based salvationist type Christian, and I think that he could be too heavy-handed with Christianity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nick Tanconi wants the thing is with Nick, as much as again I like some of the stuff he says, he is on he's on par to a lot of extent with Bob, the Speaker's Corner Bob. These guys are Christian Taliban. They are not actually any real different. I would never want these guys to actually have absolute power here, because they would literally make the country into a Christian theocracy. That's what they actually want. I mean, they're not even like, Bobby's 100% open about it. He's not even like remotely like holding back. He wants a Christian theocracy, and he actually doesn't care about the demographics of this nation. He cares about the religious ideals of this nation. As long as this country is a theocratic Christian theocracy, it could be 100% Nigerian populated nation. It can be 100% Sri Lankan. It can be 100% Chinese, as long as it's 100% Christian nation. From his perspective,
as long as you're Christian,
Christianity
you can be maximum. Your IQ can be maximum 67.
Yeah,
but as long as you're Christian,
as long as you're
come
Christian,
on in.
That's
destroy us with your IQ of 67, where we're all about 100.
I mean, exactly. That's why their positions are when you actually look into it and analyze that, like scratch its tiny surface, you realize no, they're insane. They're the Christian Taliban, essentially. That's why I call Bob's a Christian Taliban. He just wants it in a Christian way rather than the Taliban wanted the Muslim way. Both of them are insane. No, it's fine, because the thing is, the reason I don't jump on Bob and try to clout chase and scream and shout at him at Speaker's Corner is because I'm not. That is not the fight that's need to be had. I'm not there to push my my atheist agenda upon Bob. And I know that Bob is never going to be in a position where he's going to be able to insist upon his Christianity on me. So that's not the fight that I need to have at the moment. I mean, other Christians, other people, I've noticed Christians fighting Christians recently again at the park. In
Oh
fact,
yeah, you
yesterday,
always get that.
yeah, yesterday it was happening again with these, Trinitarians and I don't know, Unitarian or whatever they are. But
Yeah.
what I'm looking at is the bigger picture. The Muslims, whether they're Shia or Sunni, they never show their I mean, they do. They're still stupid enough, but they're supposed to never show their what do you call it? Their arguments or their um, infighting in front of the non-Muslims, in front of the kafirs, in front of the disbelievers.
Okay.
So at the
Yeah.
very most, even the Shias and the Sunnis, for the most part, keep themselves, keep the infighting sort of down low when it comes to Speaker's Corner. Even though it does break
Yeah.
out. I mean, I've seen Shias and Sunnis fight each other over the years, but for the most part, they show a united front. And I think that's exactly what the Christians have to do. Right now, your enemy isn't a Unitarian Christian or a Trinitarian Christian. Your enemy is someone who doesn't even think that your religion should exist. That's
Well,
who you really got to
well,
challenge.
not just your religion, but you also shouldn't exist in the eyes of.
You shouldn't exist as a. I mean, you can exist as a human being as long as you're a Muslim human being.
Well,
you
that's
just
what I
don't
mean.
exist as a non-Muslim. Yeah, you really don't.
Yeah.
They don't want you to exist as a non-Muslim. Now, someone in the chat put like, you're talking as if Muslims are aliens. Their religious ideology, is I think a couple.
Of books.
Leo, sorry. Is
That account that said something like that is called A Couple of Books.
Oh, a couple of Burks, yeah. It says oh man, where was it? Something about, yeah, you're talking about as if they're aliens. The religion is an alien religion to this nation. It's an absolutely alien religion. It should be treated as an alien, aggressive, invading force. The religion should be.
Yeah.
The people, you see, the thing is with Muslims, I don't. Once you challenge the religion sufficiently, the Muslim actually can change. They change their mind all the time. I would have been considered a Muslim at one point in my life. I am certainly nothing even close to that now. So Muslims, a human being can change, can evolve, but that
Yes.
religion can't. That religion is not even permitted to. It is crystallized in what it is. And
Yeah.
you can go ahead and play mental gymnastics all day long. You can try to, reinterpret things, but it is what it is. It stands, and it is absolutely an alien force. It is an evasive, foreign thought in the British psyche. It is as
Yeah.
evasive as the grey squirrel to the red squirrel. That's how you should look at it.
I'll go so far as to say that it is a deadly belief system or system of beliefs, and thus it's a deadly religion, and thus it's a death cult. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I would call it. And the people that are involved in it need to come out of it for their own sake, not just everyone else that they come into contact with. Right? It's just there's nothing right about that ideology at all.
Yeah.
But we don't have the resources to solve that problem on this tiny island.
Yeah, I mean exactly. As I said, you can't. I'm not looking to solve the Muslim problem globally.
Yeah,
you gotta just. They say work locally, think globally. Maybe you can think about it in a wider context, but really you're dealing with with what is in front of you and what is in this
Yes.
nation. And this nation has to have a very, very unshakable stand against foreign ideologies that want to infiltrate and subvert this nation's core beliefs and core culture. I mean, I can't even believe that such a ridiculous idea has been even entertained by anyone in this nation, where they say white people don't have a culture. I don't know if you've heard those kind of expressions. I hear them because I hang out with a lot of African American type channels and stuff. They say white people don't have a culture, like the paintings and the Sistine Chapel and the music, the operas, the symphonies, the Colosseum. Like these things don't exist somehow. Like these things
Yeah.
were not by white people. The
Yeah,
culture is
because
literally everywhere.
they just don't accept anything about us as being valid, you know, and having a place in the world that they have envisioned, which is what an ideology does, right? It's an idea. And they've had a sprinkling of power, and so off they go. Any ideologue, meaning someone with an ideal world in mind, given a sprinkle of power, becomes a tyrant. And so off they go. They destroy. All tyrants destroy because they're trying to enforce something in their mind upon a people, right? We've seen Hitler do that. We've seen Stalin do that, Idi Amin, and so many more, right? And that's what we're getting from Islam. It's an idea in the minds of a handful of people. They've got a lot of people browbeaten into following this. You know, I don't think they even know what they're aiming for, but they'll do anything for it because they've been worse. I think it's worse than browbeaten into it, right? From a very young age, from childhood. And it's tyrannical. It's utterly tyrannical. And, you know, if it was left to its own devices, okay, if they destroyed us, they'd end up destroying themselves. They'd end up turning on themselves because very little of them, very few of them actually agree on things. And when they disagree, poof, they all go off at each other. They've got, because of what's happened to them in their childhood, when this has been imposed upon them, their temperaments are not developed, you know?
Yeah.
So it does need to be stood up against. And those people need to be helped out of it and guided and supported in a better way of being for their own sake, not just ours. Like it helps everyone continue to exist, right?
Yeah.
If we stand against it. So
exactly. So I'm sorry, in the middle of this, I just sort of I keep forgetting to say it, so it just reminded me. Thank you guys. Recently, we at this channel we've actually reached a bit of a milestone of 3,000 subscribers.
yes, I saw that.
It's been a long time coming. I'm not joking. It's been like 2 years just to make 3,000. I'm not saying it's a major achievement. All I'm saying is thank you, everyone. And if you are new here, thank you so much for coming along. As I say, I usually try to do on the street stuff, but occasionally I throw in a panel session like this. My equipment at the moment is kind of my temporary equipment. So I've got like laptops and stuff I'm working with rather than my usual setup. So the quality will improve if you keep an eye on these. But for now, yeah, thank you everyone. If you are new and you just by some miracle you discovered this channel, which is heavily shadow banned, then hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because you won't get any notifications if you don't. And yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for the 3,000. So anyway, sorry,
Awesome.
Lieutenant. Let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. after that little ad. No, it's just something I've been thinking about saying, like, thank you guys for the 3,000. But usually I would do some kind of like a post or a short stream, the 3,000 like stream. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a 5,000 celebration.
Oh yes, that sounds good. That sounds like
If
fun.
we ever
And I
make it
think,
there. So
you
that'll
know,
be like
that's
in 12
coming.
years. At this rate.
No, it's coming. It's coming. Things are starting to pick up. I think the algorithms, you know, they kind of have you plateauing for quite some time, you know, and then when they find somewhere they really capitalize on spreading you about there, and then all of a sudden your subscribers go up. So let's hope this is a long-standing trajectory.
Yeah. I mean, again, it all comes down to uploading regularly and doing shows regularly. And unless I'm out in the, I try to do more shows on the street than, you know, than just these like home panel things. But occasionally, I think these home panel ones are really useful because I want to have like multimedia sort of message. You know, like I can share some videos and things like that. You can't really do that when you're out in the street. You can't have a conversation. You're just sort of recording other people all the time. So yeah, occasionally I do like to do these sort of things. But yeah, where were we? Back to Rupert Lowe. Let me ask you, Miss Ma'am, what
Yes.
are your give me one of your fears of this party emerging, and one of the things that you're really hoping that it will do.
Well, my fears are that we've got a lot of different little new parties that are talking very conservative, but there's no way that they'll garner enough support to be significant on the next general election. And that can take away from what could be a reformed larger party that is more likely to get the votes, like the Conservatives, right? So it leaves the position of conservatism not knowing who it can sit with, and the people who are truly conservative therefore don't know where to put their support. So it's all messy at the moment. My hope is that they'll all or some of them come together, weed out the rats, and become a strong conservative force without any religious input from either Islam, Christianity, or anything else. I don't think that should be in politics. There needs to be, if that's going to happen, there needs to be real conversations about immigrants, because all we're seeing is let's focus on the boat people, let's focus on the illegal immigrants, and they are merely 4% of the problem. 95% of immigrants, legal and illegal, are detrimental to us. We need to be talking about that. We have got serious problems in this country. NHSs are going bankrupt. The schools are an absolute tip. We don't know what the curriculum is. We've got religious leaders on all parts capitalising on that, as well as we've got, political and career activists capitalising on that, because they all have an idea of the ideal world and they're imposing it against anyone's will without any conversation. That is tyranny. We have a tyranny problem. So we need to start having some real conversations, not just skirting around it. I think that a lot of people, the so-called silent majority, are finding their voice, but they need to become articulate quickly, and they need to be having the real conversations. Stop being so polite. You don't have to effing blind at each other. You don't have to raise your voices, but don't be afraid to just get to the point.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I mean, I think I think this is where I find that the left or the right, sorry, has become finally a little bit smarter in regards to, despite the fact that they went through all the years of banning and shadow banning and hidden and the conservative voice was really hard to get out there, especially on the internet. But what they've discovered is that if you can change the conversation people are having around the dinner table at the pub, then politics is downstream from that. The politicians will emerge or will flip, because politicians inherently are, I've always said this, politicians and clergy are inherently cowards. They are not the soldier, they are not the warrior. And so if you push them a little, squeeze them a little bit, you'll find that they flip very quickly. They don't have a spine. They don't have real principles. Most modern politicians, for sure. And so once the conversation has changed, and conversation in the last few years, especially with Trump and all the other things, have really shifted towards the more of a conservative lean, which I don't even consider conservative, by the way. Even Rupert Lowe, I don't consider an actual conservative. He is a 90s liberal. He's just a 90s centrist. But today, in this day and age, in this psychotic leftist world, he's considered some kind of, uber, Stalin-esque, not Stalin-esque, what's the other one, in Italy,
Mussolini-esque.
Mussolini, you know what I mean? I don't want to say the
Yeah,
mustache man in Germany, because that's a
yeah,
trigger
yeah.
word in in YouTube world. But yeah, you know
God,
what I mean?
yeah.
They're just like these guys are not even close. And by the way, even those guys were not actually conservative. I mean, it's literally called the social, what was it, the
National
National
Socialist.
Socialist Party. They were
Yeah,
they were socialists, they were leftists, but with their own in group, and had excessive hostility to the the outer in group unity, out group hostility. So they had
yeah,
socialist in group unity and massive out group hostility. And anyone that wasn't in their in
yeah,
group, they just were, they just went crazy on. But either way, yeah, I mean, Rupert Lowe, Ben Habib, these guys in the 90s, if these people were trying to be politicians, they'd just be middle of the road guys. They'd just be milk toast mids. This is Sargon of Akkad. Everything I listen to when I listen to Sargon is the crap that I did in the 90s, the politics that I was in, would have agreed with in the 90s. He is the most milk toast, run of the mill guy ever. He has no edge. There's nothing edgy about Sargon. It's just that
yeah,
in this day and age, the things he says sounds like a lunatic, because we are insanely to the left. The Overton window has shifted so much that it makes someone like Sargon look like practically a Bible thumping Christian. The man isn't even religious.
yeah. Well, this is the thing about the left. They're always a tiny minority, but they're very aggressive, very, very aggressive, because they're ideologues, right? Mussolini, he was a hard knock socialist, and he had an idea of the perfect world for his Italy, and he set about imposing that upon everyone, and he thus invented fascism, right? And so that's where fascism's roots are, the left. It's an idea, it's an ideal world vision, right? And he's imposing it upon others, just like communism is the same. It comes from the left. It stems, it's like socialism is the gateway drug to all of these horrendous ideas. And so they get a sprinkling of power, they get really, really loud and aggressive, and they start imposing it. And it's like a runaway train. What comes next from shouting and bawling before an audience in a hall where you're talking about politics? In comes camps, right? We don't like them. We've developed with this sprinkling of power and this snowball effect, we're developing a disgust tolerance issue. Now, Dr. Jordan Peterson mentioned that when he talks about the little mustache man of Germany, right? It was a disgust tolerance issue. He saw a lot of things wrong with his country, thanks to World War I. They were broke. He was being fed all of this information. He had a lot of powerful people in his head as well. He developed this idea. He developed what he wanted to achieve, and he set about it. And with the disgust tolerance and all of this support and everyone being a sycophant to him, it just went out of control. It happens every time. And so that is what comes of the far left. So we do, fortunately, they're a tiny minority. But this is why I say that the right still need to be learning how to articulate themselves. They need to be getting to the point, because we haven't got time to beat around the bush anymore.
Yeah.
We've found our voice, but we haven't got time to beat around the bush. When's the next election? We need it sorted then.
I mean, I just want to quickly respond to a couple of Bergs. I'm not even debating that there will be some Muslims that may have been in this country in the 7th or 8th or 9th century. I'm not even debating that. There's a very good chance through the merchants from Spain, especially through Spain, they may have made their way here. But Muslims or Islam in some form of 0.1% walking around Britannia in the 7th or 8th century is not the equivalent of what we have here. Just because you had a couple of Muslims, that doesn't mean you invite the whole caliphate over. This is like
Yeah.
the most ludicrous argument ever. It's like, well, we had a couple of Muslims back in like the 7th century, so it's always been here. So let's just invite the next million Muslims from Pakistan. Let's just invite half of Pakistan over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And you know,
what the hell?
we hear the left in this country justify the problems that comes with them coming to this country with, well, you know, you've got child sexual abusers in the church. What are you doing about them? And we've done a lot about that. And we continue to do a lot about that. But that doesn't mean that because we have that problem, we should open the door to a shit ton more of that problem. We're supposed to be preventing it, right? The children are our first top priority, right? Every child in law, we are responsible for. So how can we protect them if we're inviting more of that in?
Yeah, exactly.
They're insane.
Exactly.
There's a chant that I hear at the protests where you can never trust a lefty with your kids or something like that. I think it's true. I thought it was funny at first, but I actually think it's true. When you look at what they're doing in the schools, when you look at the kind of people that they're saying we should open the doors to.
I mean, you know, I think the thing is, it's a gross generalization, and it can be a little bit like insinuating like they're going to do something to your kids. But I understand what you mean in the sense of how they will influence. Like my brother's a lefty. My brother's very blue-pilled in a lot of sort of sense. But no, I wouldn't say that, you know, you can leave your child with him.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean like the irresponsibility in their decision making.
Yeah.
I don't mean they're literally going to touch your child and do something bad to them. No, I don't mean that.
I mean, yeah, but the
Lefties,
thing is that kind of
like you're a lot.
That kind of soundbite gives a sort of insinuation to my,
sorry about that.
Because let's be honest, a lot of the do funnies, as we call them, the LGBT, you know, rainbow color people in the American circles, they call them do funnies now,
right?
Because they do funny things. But
true.
But yeah, the do funnies and the you know, the people of the Transformer movies, they tend to all be very much on the left. Their politics are mostly on the left. Although, don't get me wrong, I know a couple myself. I know one personally, a Transformer, that is an extremely based girl and is very much a conservative. I don't know if you know the girl. Her name was Sophia Lewis. She came to Speaker's Corner back in like 2018, 2019, a few times. Then she got a kind of a high-level job, so she had to kind of kill her online profile. So she basically stopped coming and she shut down all her YouTube channels and stuff. But she was a trans person. She was as based as you can get. Fully, she hated all this trans people going into like women's spaces and stuff. She was totally against all that stuff. Although, looking at her, believe me, you will never know. I mean, she'd had the full operation though, everything, top and bottom, everything. You would never be able to tell in a million years. I can point to 10 women that are far butcher than her, because she went through. But she also had puberty blockers when she was a child, when she was prepubescent. Right. So she there's nothing non-feminine about her. She doesn't even have an Adam's apple. I mean, I keep saying she as well because that's how I see her. There was no there's almost. I mean, I presume there might be some indicators if she fully undressed, but without, just in daily life, nobody would tell. You could never know in a million years that she's anything but a female, because I mean, she did it all though. She literally did it all. But unfortunately, with people like her, and also Blair White, I don't know if you know Blair White from YouTube. She's an American conservative trans person. Now she does have the Franks and Beans, But if you see her walk into a men's toilet, it would be a jarring experience. You double check to see you're in the right toilet. Let's be honest. I mean, she actually did it. She went into the men's toilets in a restaurant, and she had, I think, a boyfriend or whatever secretly recorded, to see what reactions. And the men complained that there's a woman in the men's toilets, and she was told not to go in there. She was told by
Right.
the staff, you can't go into the men's. The men are freaking out. She said, well,
Yeah.
you keep saying I'm not supposed to go into the women's, so I'm going into the men's, and now the men are freaking out.
Yeah.
It's on her channel, actually. I think it's old. It's like years ago she did it. But that's the problem. Like the ones who really look like women, um, you're not gonna be able to. You're gonna be. Men are gonna feel weird. I mean, if someone like her walked into a men's house, now I said toilets you can go into a cubicle and whatever, and maybe it's not as evasive. But if she walked into a men's changing room, and there I am with just nothing but a towel around my waist, hell, I am awkward being naked around other men. I'll be honest, I never got over that because I'm Iranian, and I was raised in Iran, and we don't just walk around naked in front of other men. It's just, at the minimum, we have some kind of cloth towel, something wrapped around our waist. we're not that free and open. So I have never been comfortable with being naked, or in like showers, like these. When I used to play football at school, and they've got, the showers don't have any cubicle sections; they're just open.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I used to just shower with my underpants on. I'm not joking. I used to shower with my underpants because I just don't feel comfortable around men being. I don't comfortable about anyone being naked around anyone except the person I'm having sexual coitus with. That's it. That's the only person that I would be okay with being naked. Everyone else, no.
Yeah, well, I share that from, I'm a woman and I go to the swimming baths, and when you go to the showers, it's all open. I just find that so creepy.
Really? They don't even have cubicles?
Yeah. They don't have cubicles.
Oh my God. Thank God my
And
place
I just
does.
can't stand it.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't shower in those sort of environments. I either have to shower with my boxers on, and then wrap a towel around my waist and just sort of slide them off, and essentially I got to go commando if I don't have another spare pair with me, or cubicles. It's the only way. I
Yeah,
can't
if I
do
can
it.
find a cubicle, I'm fine. But if not, then the costume's staying on and I'm just
Yeah.
rinsing through.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if I'm going swimming, then that's the thing. But sometimes you go to the gym or football, like as I said, and you didn't bring a swimming trunk. You just had your underpants, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Here we
no
go again.
cubicles.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
I've got major issues with other toiletry stuff as well, because Middle Easterners, Iranians, all of us, in fact, even Indians, I know of, we kind of have to wash after we go. Just a clump of dry toilet tissue is not enough
Right.
for our toiletry needs. So since we have to wash, I always have to make sure I have some kind of like a water bottle or something with me. I mean, we wipe. It's just that you have to kind of wash it and then wipe again, just to kind of make sure that whole area is washed. The water has to flow.
Okay.
At some stage, and if it doesn't, if I can't, I'm not in the right mindset the whole day until I get home and shower. I feel
Yeah,
dirty
so you
and
don't
disgusting.
feel clean.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm just on edge until I get home. There's been occasions where I had to use like a public toilet and just use like an entire toilet roll, and it's still not enough.
Yeah.
At one point I'm just scraping skin. I'm just taking
bless
layers
you.
of skin off myself, and I'm still not comfortable. It's just not. I can't. Just a clump of toilet paper is not enough. At least
Yeah.
some toilets provide like a sanitary, those liquid disinfectants or whatever inside the toilet that you can wipe the seat with, and I kind of put that on a tissue and sort of do a little bit around that. With that, that's semi acceptable. But
that can't be good for your skin, though. You need
no,
something more.
definitely not.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that's like the midway sort of desperate options situation. I can't even sit on a public toilet seat. I have to like doily it. I don't know if you guys know what I mean. I have to like
Yeah.
surround it all with toiletry. I can't. I've got like major problems. If I end up in some kind of wartime or apocalyptic scenario, I'll just die on the fact that I will not go toilet for a month. I swear
You'll
to
need
God.
to have your own field with your own shovel and your own
Yeah,
ditches
I have got major issues. My friend was telling me, because us Middle Easterners, we kind of experience the same thing in the Western world, because in the Middle East, and that's the thing, like when I go to like Dubai and Turkey and places, I feel so much more comfortable in the toilets because they've all got these hoses, water hoses in the toilet. like a what do they call them, douche
bidet.
or bidet. Exactly, there's a bidet everywhere. Can't you spit? Thanks. No, spit is not enough. But yeah, everywhere has a bidet style or hose or something. So I'm much more relaxed. But even though some of the toilets, like the toilet in Saudi Arabia airport, was horrific. I mean, horrific. But it had a hose. I was like, well, it has a hose. I can wash this area. But what I was saying, yeah, we all talk about, like, we all have this one conversation, which is like, when we go toilet, what the hell do we do? And my friend said some of his friends were in the military. I don't know, was it Kuwait or Iraq? I think it was Iraq, because in Iraq, and I think even in Kuwait, there's like a mandatory military service you have to do. And he says, once you come out the military, you can go toilet anywhere. You can sleep anywhere, because you have to. As a soldier, you literally are in knee feet in shit, in mud and dirt, and that's it. You just have to sleep wherever you can find it. You have to take a poo wherever you can. In a hole, you dig a hole and you just do it. Whether you can wash or not.
Basically, it destroys all inhibitions when you go in the military.
Yeah, because you have to essentially live in your own shit and piss for as long as you have to, because it's like they do training, survival training and stuff like that, and you just have to get on with it. And after you come out of that thing, nothing bothers you anymore. Hygiene is not a major issue.
We'll have to get you conscripted then.
Oh my God. But because I swear to, because I have issues. There was a long time where, I mean, it's been a while that I have to go into office now, but for most of my working life, I have to take a small bottle of TCP and a water bottle, like this, like a Lucozade kind of water bottle. Always, I have to have that in my drawer at work. Because when I go to the toilet, I have to wipe the toilet down with TCP or Dettol or some kind of disinfectant. And then I doily it, because I still won't put my rear end on that seat after I've disinfected it. And water. It's horrific. It's horrific. It's a nightmarish scenario for me. People like wonder why it takes me so long to go to the bathroom at work. I'm like, you have no idea what I have to go through. The journey that I have to take. just for one poo. I'm sorry, this conversation went left field very quickly. Don't trust the lefty with your kids.
So I think we're going to have to bring this to Rupert Lowe, aren't we?
Let's put it this way: if Rupert Lowe says that they'll put a bidet in every toilet in Britain, he immediately has my vote. and ironically, a lot of Muslim votes too. You'd be shocked how many Muslims he would actually get the vote of if he implemented such a policy. But no, it's this is the thing. Oh, here's my thing about the Rupert Lowe, what he said in regards to benefits and working. If you can work, you have to work. Fundamentally, of course, I agree with him. But I think what he has miscalculated is how many of the white native population don't work and are on some kind of a dole because they've got, I don't know, an inner ear malfunction or some kind of, depression or some shit that they're claiming, benefits on. You'll be shocked. I mean, yes, the migrants, illegal migrants, sure, screw them all, because they're not even like natives of this land. But I think he will be shocked at how many natives will not vote because they don't want to lose their own benefits, because they're gonna because fear is a bigger motivator than hope and glory, sound, tunes of glory and restoring Britain back to its former greatness. I think people are going to be like, yeah, if this guy gets in, I'm going to lose my whatever benefit I'm claiming because I can't be asked to
Yeah,
work.
this is where it might benefit him for him to talk about what he can do to help those people into work. There's a lot of special programs. There's all of this DEI, right? So there's diversity hires all across the board, and that's why British standards have dropped through the floor. Okay, because we've got these maximum 67 IQ doing jobs that people who are indigenous to this country are on the dole. They've been priced out of the market, right? Because these people that are coming in from other countries are cheaper labour as well. But also the corporations, the businesses, they're being incentivized by the government to hire these people. So all of that needs to change as well. And this is where I liked what Nigel Farage was saying that a few years ago, right? He was saying that he would put an end to all of the incentivization, right? So that white people, white indigenous English people would be hired more than the foreigners. It would go back to being a meritocracy, but also we need to be upskilling our indigenous who are on the dole. So there needs to be a clear program set out of how they can get someone from, I will call it the benefits trap. It is a trap. Okay, it seems like the safe thing to do at first, but then you can't get out of it because financially you are better off. And who wants to fight to go into a workforce where you're treated like crap because you're white and because you're of this land, right?
Yeah.
And you say something that offends a DEI hire, right? So it's just, why bother? So you end up trapped. So there needs to be a clear pathway out of that for the vast majority who are on benefits. That needs to be detailed. So I think he needs to get to work onto that like pretty sharpish, because of how long he's got to build up a campaign to challenge those fears in people and to reassure people they can have a life again. They don't have to be stuck online and on benefits the rest of their life. This is not like, we don't have to have these problems. We can change it, but we all have to put a bit of effort in, right? So yeah, definitely, I agree with what you're saying.
He has to quell some of those fears of young, actual native Brits, essentially, to say, look, I mean, admittedly, it's going to take, the whole thing's going to take a bit of time. It's just that he has to also kind of convince people working and earning money, you're always better off than living off government handouts. You're always better off. It's not even like close how much more better off you are. So I know people fall into this trap and this cycle of, well, if I go to work for this shitty pay, I'm going to lose this benefit, that benefit, that benefit. And then quite often, you're going to end up actually, the benefits you lose will be more in per month than what you're going to earn. Most of the time, that's going to be the case. It's an absolute bitch. But you'll find that as the years progress, after a couple of years, you'll be ahead of what you would have got in the benefits game. And you're not only paying your bills, you're actually saving some money, and you're doing a lot of other things too. So it's just
Yeah,
getting out,
there's a
breaking that cycle.
psychological benefit as well. There's a psychological benefit. You're out there doing something for yourself. You've got more self-esteem, more self-confidence. All of that can be built upon. You can upskill yourself anytime. You know, you can do that like outside of work, but you can do stuff on the job as well to improve yourself and move around economically. But people tend not to be able to see that. They just see this big transition from benefits to hardly any wages and being at the bottom of the pile and how crummy that is, right? That's basically what people are afraid of. They can't see past that. So there needs to be talk of what comes after that and how that can be dealt with as well, because it is something that you have to go through, but how you can deal with that mentally. You know,
you have to. There is a transition. It's just overall. I mean, I saw this video on X, and I was trying to find it just now, but I don't think I saved it. There's some moron, Muslim dipshit talking about, oh, well, what you don't realize is, you're waiting on waiting list for your NHS, but what you don't realize is you're waiting on an NHS to see a doctor who's a migrant doctor. So you don't want migrants in this country. You want to get rid of all the migrants, but your migrant doctor is also going to go. I'm like what kind of these moronic arguments? Okay, I will address that moronic argument of the fact that you want to get rid of migrants and you're going to get rid of the migrant doctors. First of all, no, you can be selective in who you kick out. But second of all, the vicious cycle is this. You have a shitload of migrants that come in that put pressure on the NHS because the NHS can't deal with it. Then you have to import more migrant doctors and nurses to deal with the migrants who've come in. So really what it is a vicious circle of just migrants taking care of migrants in the British NHS.
Yeah. And none of the rest of us are getting any health benefits.
And no one else gets a look in. So it's just migrant doctors and nurses looking after illegal migrants who come on small boats or any other sort of form or fashion that they made it into the country and they're not working. So if you get rid of these migrants, then you don't even need the doctors and nurses.
Correct.
Because it's the illegal and basically the non-doctors and nurse migrants who are putting that excessive pressure on the NHS that is incapable of actually coping with the influx of people. So you get rid of the influx of people, and whoever's left, there'll be plenty of doctors and nurses to look after them.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, the migrants that do end up in the NHS, there's only 0.04% of them that are beneficial to us that are in the NHS.
Yeah.
These are facts. This came out in the OBR September 2024. And like I see it when I go into hospitals, especially in London. You see a lot of elderly and, you see a lot of ill people and they're of this land and they're not receiving the treatment they need because there's a language barrier. Then there's the culture barrier. The way they treat their own is different to how we treat our own, right? They're far less respectful. Their bedside manner, if you like, is not up to scratch. And so people aren't healing. And so we are sicker for longer, right? So if we take those migrants out that are not beneficial to us, we can heal ourselves better. We already have the information on how to do so. Why are we training them to do it when we could do a better job if we were trained to do it?
This is the thing. The thing is, for me, the problem is numbers. It's always numbers. It's the numbers of people that are using something versus those who are serving the people using this particular service, let's say the NHS as we're talking about. If you take out 20 million people out of this country, you think the NHS would have the problems it has? If anything, it'd have 20 million less.
Yeah. I mean, the NHS is the most heavily funded healthcare system in the developed world, and it has the worst outcome. The outcome is health and life.
Yeah.
So we're importing these people to kill ourselves, basically.
Yeah. Pretty much. But I mean,
Yeah.
you could resolve it by, I think, even disincentives. I mean, there's a plethora of disincentives. Personally, I
Yeah.
think that you shouldn't be able to use the NHS unless you have paid at least 5 to 10 years worth of taxes.
Yeah.
5 to 10 years. You've been a taxpayer for a minimum of 5 to 10 years. I would say 10. That would immediately cut out, Mr. Abdul and his mom and his 4 inbred cousins and the 12, nieces and and nephews that he has that
And
he's
the
going to
rest
bring
of the
over.
mosque that are waiting in Afghanistan to get a flight over.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly, because none of them will be able to access the NHS, and he has to pay for all of them to have private healthcare. You think
Yeah.
Abdul's going to come? Abdul's
Yeah.
like, hell no. I'm
And
looking at
especially if he
Germany.
can't get a job because he's illiterate and he's like maximum IQ 67
Yeah,
and he's got no
anything.
skills for this country.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, that's Abdul's issue. But the fact is that if you haven't paid taxes, you can't use the NHS. The NHS is not for you. America operates on a non-NHS basis. In America,
Yes.
if you're a tourist and you don't have travel insurance, they're going to send you a bill. You're going to get a very large bill, even if you just break a toe. So
Yeah.
if America operates on those bases, why the hell is Britain not doing that? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
in the
insane to me.
in the Netherlands, you can't get benefits, I think, and it was after, and not until after a year of working there, and that was for a Brit. It was more difficult for other nations, but that's because the
There you go.
Netherlands at the time, they were returning the favour on like what our system does, where you can after 6 months. But I think it should be like 12 to 24 months at least of working here before you'd ever be able to claim benefits if the worst came to the worst and you were
To be honest with you, I
unemployed.
think that's not even long enough. I think 5 to 10
Yeah.
years, because that will just
Okay.
immediately, there'll be scores of people that will either not come or will be running away
Yeah.
because their grandma can't get any medical treatment now. She's screwed. She's going to have
Yeah.
to go back to, wherever, Kabul, Tehran, whatever it is. By the way, I'm not even excluding like Iranians. Absolutely, Iranians are in that boat, exact same as everyone else.
Yeah.
You don't, if you haven't worked here, if you're on a working visa, and you've been working for a company for say 5 years, 10 years, then yeah, have at it, Os. Even if you're not a citizen, but you've been here, paying tax for the last 5 or 10 years, no worries.
Yeah.
But you would have to have some form of documentation, obviously, to prove that you did that. But otherwise, yeah, it's insane. It's insane. There's like so many things that are absolutely nuts. And the problem is, don't get me wrong, I love the fact that Britain was this beautiful, open society and loving and caring, and Abdul could rock up and bring his sick mother over and should be treated.
Mhm.
But I'm sorry, Abdul, you ruined that shit. Too many of you Abduls and Mohammeds came over and you fucked it up for all of us. So now we all have to suffer because you screwed it up. Too many of you took the piss. And now it's going to have to lock it down. That's how it is. That's how
Yeah.
it is. You ruined it. It was fine when only half a dozen of you Abduls came over, but you all decided to invite the whole village. We can't do that. You can't. You can't have the whole village. You are not the only Muslim in the village.
And they've destroyed their own villages. I don't want them destroying ours.
I mean, it's just too many. You just can't. It can only sustain a certain amount of people. Any system, any free or taxpayer system can only manage. I said these systems were not set up. You think when they set up the NHS back in the after the Second World War, they were predicting that this country's population is going to go from 20, I don't know what it was in the 50s. I think it was like maybe 30, 40 million to like 70 million people. They were not accounting for another 40 million people to rock up or 30 million people to rock up in 50, well, about 70, 80 years. It wasn't built for that many people. It wasn't designed for that many people.
It's a tiny, tiny island as well.
Yeah, it's just the systems that these countries devised was set for okay, we have this many number of people, this many of them are working, paying tax, so that much is coming in, and then we're gonna roll out this thing. We send them I mean, I remember, I think Tony Benn, I think, is it Tony Benn, the old Labour politician? I don't know if you know who I mean.
Sounds
He's a
familiar.
very,
I don't think I've
yeah,
really
he
seen
was. I
him.
think he was even interviewed once by Ali G, but it was a different interview, I think, that I was watching, and he was a proper communist socialist kind of character. He wasn't like a thing, but he was like a reasonably minded, like, okay, we can do this and do this for the people, but not this insane, like everyone in the world can just come over and everything will be fine. And he said the leaflet, he still had the leaflet, the first leaflet that they sent out when the NHS was introduced. And in the leaflet itself, it says, this is not a free service. You are paying for it through your taxes, but it is free at the point of use. And
Yes.
that's the side of that. That's where you don't have to worry about extra costs. But it's not a free service. It is something you're paying for. You're just paying for it through tax. And don't get me wrong, I like the idea of the NHS. I was talking to someone else about the American system versus the British system, which, by the way, the NHS is increasingly going that way. This private public hybrid crap is essentially their attempt at eventually making it into an American insurance-based system. But the fact is, in America, you see, the reason I have to hold this line of the NHS is because in America, if I take out a car insurance and I get, my car gets written off, some greedy car insurance bastard has written some small print there somewhere where they're going to screw me over with the money that they owe me. So they're either going to give me a fraction of what they owe me, or they're not going to pay at all, depending on whatever small text crap that they stuck into the insurance policy when I signed it. Because let's be honest, nobody reads your insurance policy. If you're one of those few people who actually read cover to cover your insurance policy, then good on you. But I don't read shit. I just say, is that how much I have to pay every month? Here's the signature. It's exactly the same as when you. Oh, sorry, go on.
Insurance is a con. Absolutely.
It's the same as when you
put in.
Yeah, it's the same as when you install some app on your computer. You know that agree button. You just go agree. You're probably agreeing to give away your firstborn child, for all you know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know because you just want to get into the app and use it there.
So the fact is that if my car gets written over and I get screwed by some greedy fat cat insurance company, it's not the end of the world, because I'm healthy, I can work, and I can buy another car. I can get myself out of that crap by working my way out of that crap. But when you're ill, when you have some degenerative disease and you've been diagnosed with cancer or some shit, and you can't work, and then some insurance bastard comes and screws you over at that moment, you are utterly screwed, like beyond screwed, because you can't even work your way out of it. You're ill, you're sick, you don't have the physical capability to even work yourself out of that debt, or out of or work yourself so that you can pay to get the treatment you win. You literally don't get the treatment. You die, is what happens. And that's why you can't really have some greedy fat cat in charge of something as sensitive as your medical health. You can't have that. You can't put that in their hands. And I would rather trust my government, who I hope is looking out for my best interest, than a fat greedy corporation that I know doesn't give a shit about me. I'm just a number on a spreadsheet to them, and I'm a deficit to them on that particular occasion, because I'm claiming I'm taking money out of their system, because insurance companies, they don't give a shit. They are more than happy to take your money, but when you come to giving it back, they'll drag you through the coals. But you just, that's why for me, the NHS it's very important and valuable, and they can't just have it ruined by giving it out to the world. You're not the global health health system. You are the national health system, and that nation is the Great Britain, is the United Kingdom. You
Yeah.
just you can't do this, and yeah, unfortunately, there was, the old saying, good time, bad times make strong men. Strong men make good times make weak men make bad times. And
Yeah, it's a
unfortunately,
circle.
we are there. We're in the bad times era. We're in the weak man era. And now I'm hoping someone like Rupert Lowe is the strong man that is emerging in this field of pathetic weaklings. Um, but no man can rule alone. Unfortunately, even if he tries to implement what he wants to implement, I foresee a lot of hills for him to climb. As I said in my early thing, these men have chosen to climb Everest. That is what they've chosen to do, and I pray for their success. But I can see the task in front of them, and it's monumental. It is a very, very difficult thing that these guys want to do. I mean, what Rupert Lowe said, I would wager he'd be lucky if he can get 10% of what he said done.
Yeah.
It'll be a miracle, because they've got the what do you call it, what do they call them, not the social services, the people who work within the government,
Oh, the
but are
civil
not
services.
civil service. Yeah, the civil
Yeah.
service. Yeah, he's gonna literally put on boxing gloves and go to the ring with these guys on a daily basis.
Yeah,
They're
they're
gonna
supposedly
fight him.
cleaning out, but honestly, at what pace, I don't know. It is monumental, the task that he has at hand, for sure, because every aspect of government, whether it's national, regional, like local, or what, needs to be cleaned out. And that doesn't just mean the people, that means the processes, and therefore that means the training, and that it means it needs everyone on board to implement. Because when you've got resistance, right, and we know with the left, they know how to resist, okay,
Yeah.
and they're very, very aggressive. They are players, so dirty.
Yes.
That's not easy. That's not easy. So this is where, like, what you're saying ties in with what I'm saying. This silent majority who found their voice need to become articulate. And they need to stop messing about, stop beating around the bush, stop doing the cotton wool and tender hooks and all the rest of it, get to the point with people.
Yeah.
And let your no be no and your yes be yes sort of thing. You've got to really say what you mean, be firm with it. You've got yourself clued up with what you're doing is right, and stand by it. And don't let them walk all over you. This is where we need to become more resilient and stronger.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. At the moment, I think you're right. There's just, as I said, there's too many weak men, too many weak politicians, too many weak, just self-serving individuals. Like, if I do this, will I get fired? Like, we got to have people who literally don't give a shit about things like that. Those words don't even enter their mind. If I do this, do I get fired or not? Or how is this gonna work for my career? And the thing is, with Habib and Lowell, I can say fair enough, because they're rich and old. You see, a friend of mine said this to me a few weeks ago. A very good friend of mine. I just didn't reply because I didn't want to start another fight. Because a lot of my friends are blue pilled and lefties, and I'm like, they some of them fainted when I said I would 100% vote for Trump. Because I have a lot of friends in the IT world, and they are very lefty. The IT world is a very lefty environment.
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, I was talking about Trump. I said something about Trump, and he said, "Oh no, he's just in it for his own money, and he wants to just make it." I'm like, I said, dude, the man is nearly 80 years old. I didn't say this to him. This is what I thought. The man is 80, nearly 80 years old. He's like 77, 78, 79.
Yeah.
He's been a millionaire stroke billionaire his entire life. He's partied and lived a lavish life. He has a fucking plane with a golden toilet in it. Do you honestly think he's now at this stage in his life looking for a few quid more? Just a few quid more. He said to me, "Oh, he wants more money and he wants to build a tower with his name on it." I think we were talking about Iran or something. And I'm like, is that what Trump wants? To have a Trump tower in Iran? That's it. That's his end game. The man is finished. He'd be lucky if he makes it the next. To be honest with you, he'd be lucky if he finishes his term of presidency. These people are not young. They're not, whippersnappers looking to build, climb the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
They've lived. He's lived his entire life as a millionaire. He's literally, undoubtedly, the most famous man in the world. So he's got fame. He's got money. He's lived his life. He's almost at the end of it. Why does he care for another Trump tower or another $1 million in his back pocket? I don't think that's his motivation here.
No, I mean, even if he did want those things, it's not like he can't just do that pretty much in minutes.
He could have done it actually whilst he was on the lefty side of the fence and get all the admirations and ass kisses from the left coming over to him and loving him. He's in fact condemned himself and his family to a life of just being shunned from polite society and ridicule. I bet his children, his daughters and sons, probably won't even get invited to any of those Hollywood parties anymore. They're not going to go to any red carpet events anymore, are they? No. Hollywood's going to despise them for the rest of their lives. I mean, it's not just Trump that that he condemned himself to this hatred from all these lefties. He's also kind of condemned his kids to it too.
Yeah, they've all actually said to their dad, "Yeah, we're with you." They've chosen to stand by. They know how important this is. Yeah. It's not a willy-nilly decision that any of them have made.
Exactly. They did this as a unit, as a family. They didn't do this. And if they're doing this, if you think they're doing this for the greed and money, there was like 1,000 different ways these people could have made their money. They could have made more money
we all took financial hits.
And keep the good graces of Hollywood and all the celebrity world with them as well.
Yeah,
they didn't. They chose a very hard path.
Yeah,
and and this is the same with Lowe and Habib. These guys are rich. They're very rich, and I'm sure they could be very, they could make a lot more money if they didn't take this path. I mean, if they're doing it as a grift, friggin' hell, that's the hardest grift ever. They've chosen the worst grift. They could have been better off as a social media influencer. But yeah, I mean, to get, because I think most people don't realize the troubles for Habib and Lowe has only just begun. They're going to go through their bins. They're going to go and dig up every skeleton these people have ever had.
Oh, yes.
In every closet that they've ever hung a shirt in. Because they're not just going to leave them alone. They're not just going to let this slide. Right now, they're just hoping that they'll siphon off enough votes so that reform doesn't get in the next election cycle. But if these two, if reform and Restore and Advance unite and look like they're actual challengers for maybe not the next election cycle, but the one after that, they're gonna rip them up. The media is gonna rip them apart. They'll just be on them 24/7. What did you do in 1963 when you went to a party and you only ordered 2 pints of Stella? It's like, you know what I mean? We're talking like ridiculous shit they're gonna pick on.
This is where, thinking about that, Habib's face has been around for quite some time, and they've never really tried to dig up anything on him. But they have really tried to have a go at Rupert Lowe, in the Houses of Parliament and outside, So this also has me favour Rupert Lowe over Habib, because I'm thinking, why do they like Habib so much?
I mean, I don't know, because I mean, I can say this. Habib has never been close to real power. He's been adjacent, with Farage and this and that, but he himself hasn't been the sort of focal point of, okay, he's going to gain power and he's going to make decisions. It's always been like Farage and other people. And with Lowe, the reason he got the kind of scrutiny that he did, because I think Reform put them up to it. He started to essentially, he started to ruffle some feathers within Reform. And it was Reform that in fact called the police on him about harassment and harassing some of his staffers or whatever, or some people in the Reform Party or some bollocks like that. So it was actually Reform that sicked the dogs on to him. It wasn't that people were coming for Rupert Lowe ordinarily. I think it was because Reform literally said, "Okay, get him, go get him, bite his leg," because they wanted him away out of because. As you can see, he's far more popular than Nigel Farage. And Farage, unfortunately, has an ego, has a very big ego. And Lowe, I don't know whether he's got an ego or whether he's just genuine or whatever he was, he's going to stand out. He wasn't going to be some sideline cheerleader, pom-pom waver for Farage. And that's what Farage seems to want. That's why he's gathered all these people around him. They all immediately pick up the pom-poms and give me an N, give me an I.
Yeah.
And they start waving the pom-poms and kissing the ring. And I think Lowe wasn't that kind of guy. He's like, no, I don't give a shit about your ego, Farage here. I'm talking about the country. What are we doing for the country? And I mean, yeah, I mean, the thing is, up until now, look, I don't want to be pessimistic about the Lowe Habib kind of situation, the Restore situation. I really want it to work. I really want them to be at least, at the minimum, to be forced, or the government or the politics landscape to be forced to do this. The Reform Party doesn't get enough to become a majority government, and the Restore Party actually gets enough so that the Reform has to go into a hung parliament coalition government with Restore, and the Conservatives are completely wiped off the map. That would be, for me, a good enough scenario. Of course, number one choice if they win outright, but I've seen the politics of this country for too many years to believe that a party that's this new is gonna. I mean, just the mere fact that Reform would break the two-party duopoly, that in itself would have been an amazing task if they could achieve it. But now, to have Restore, I don't think Restore can do that. I don't think Restore is in that position to be able to break not only the two-party duopoly, but to come out as the winning party, an overwhelming majority party in the next election. I mean, am I being a dick? I just don't see this country shifting that way, that quickly. I mean, you got to realize we've got nimrods and morons in Wales who vote for Plaid Cymru, for crying out loud. We've got dipshits that vote for the SNP in Scotland.
Yes,
it's not just England. You can't just win the government by just winning England.
Yeah,
you have to win
all of that as well. Yeah.
Yes. We got to win those morons who voted for idiots like Hamza Youssef. I mean, we have morons in this country that actually voted for someone like Hamza Youssef. If you have voted for Hamza Youssef, personally, I think you forfeited your right as a human being. As a human being, not just an Englishman or Scotsman, as a human being, you have to be reclassified now as another creature.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Hamza Youssef. Starmer or Stalin, whatever you want to call
You know
them.
what I mean?
You know,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And
These-
you've got
and that-
people. You've got people in this country who will do that because they hate the English. Whether it's the Scottish, whether it's the Irish, whether it's certain people from other countries, right? They will do that just to have a go at what they've seen in Parliament, just to have a go at the Conservatives. But what they've let in is utter tyranny.
Yes.
And that's the enemy within. That's what this silent majority that's found its voice needs to quickly become articulate against, and needs to stand up in their own individual capacity in the workplace, when they're taking the kids to school. Whoever it is that they come across that is as fucking stupid as that, they need to start stopping beating around the bush. They need to start getting to the point firmly, safely, and conscientiously, but assertively, and not taking anything but yes, from these people. Like you've got to say yes and mean it. You've got to say no and mean it. We've done too much of anything but that for too long, and that's how we're in this mess.
Sorry, allow me 1 minute. Go ahead, continue, Madam Lieutenant. I have to be back in 2 seconds.
Okay, so where do I rant from that? Because I was just rounding it up. Yeah, people need to look into what rights they do have, look into what they're surrounded with, and look at themselves and think about what they're actually letting ride, which if they didn't have any kind of concern, they would usually, if they were feeling comfortable and confident enough, they would speak out against. Well, they need to start speaking out against, as much as they might be uncomfortable. The comfort zone is very, very unhealthy. The comfort zone is what we're in now, and it's not comfortable. Most of us are feeling it. It's not comfortable compared to how things could be and how things have been. So people need to, look at themselves and look at what they can do. It's easy to say that the government should do this and that the politicians should do that, because we know what they should and shouldn't be doing. But we have to make sure that they are doing what they should be doing and that they're not doing what they shouldn't be doing. We have a responsibility as adults as well. We have to be the checks and balances. So we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at what we can do in our own capacity. That's my thoughts on that. It's so easy that I could just do it forever, sit and look at what everyone else is and isn't doing. I need to look at what I can be doing as well. Who have we got in the chat? Oh, a couple of Burks. Are you still there doing your far left nonsense? Right, I don't know what you guys are talking about in the chat. Oh, Easy's here. Hello, Easy. Urban Roots, big up. And Skyworks, nice to see you. Dean, hello. Dean says to a couple of Burks, be proud of your Welshness. I didn't know they were Welsh.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry I had to get the door. The actual workmen have arrived.
Okay.
So I'm going to end this bad boy because I have to go and take care of other things, and also some of the things I talk about, I usually try to do it without other alien sort of outsiders in the building.
Not more blooming aliens.
No, I mean, when I say alien, I mean people that are not in my immediate family.
I know what you mean.
People, strangers. There was the word, strangers.
The enemies within.
Yeah, well, exactly. But yeah, no, I mean, they're okay. They're in the other room. He's doing his thing. Just needed access to the gas and boiler and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you so much, Lieutenant. As always, you have been awesome and gorgeous and beautiful, and I hope you had a great Valentine's. Also, do you want to tell them about Thursday? What happens on a Thursday?
Oh, what happens on a Thursday at my channel at 8:30 p.m. GMT is I host a live stream called Exploration, in which I and my invited panelists become explorers of the information that is before us. I name the topic of the evening at the beginning of the stream, so the panelists and myself are starting on a relatively blank page. Come along, it's for an hour and a half until 10 p.m. We're just using our critical thinking skills and improving our critical thinking skills and hoping that that's beneficial to the audience.
Awesome.
That's
Could
it.
you please do me a favor? Do you have your if you have your channel link, you can
Yes, I do. I
You
have
can
the
post-
links for YouTube and Rumble. There's
Yes,
a
please. If
message
you can
there
put
because I
those
play
in.
music there, but yeah, come along, subscribe, click the notification bell and select all so that you get a notification for when we're going to go live.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
On that note, I will bid you all a good evening or good afternoon. No, good evening. It's early evening-ish. It's 5 o'clock. I was going to go actually to the Iranian protesters after this gentleman's finished, but it's absolutely pissing it down with rain.
Yeah, it's going dark again.
And that's it was sunny, and then it went back to being normal Britain again. So there's that.
All right, I love you and leave you, Banksy. Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
me.
my love.
It's been lovely
Thank you
chatting.
again.
God bless.
Thank you. Take it. Bless you. Okay, guys and girls, we are going to get the effing F out of here. Thank you for joining me. If you like this stream, please hit the like button. And if you didn't, don't. And if you are new and if by some miracle you discovered us, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you will catch me out on the streets. Sometimes in the wet and the cold. Today, I think I might avoid the wet and the cold because it's just wet and cold, and I don't know. I feel I don't want to go out there. But anyway, either way, thank you so much. Love you all. Bless you all. Let's hope these boys do their thing in the realms of the politics. And if you're not a member, it's only 20 quid. Drop a 20 quid membership fee and see how it goes. If you've never been a member of a political party, I haven't been. I've never joined a political party. It might be charming just to do that. 20 quid. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know if you are on benefits, maybe 20 quid is a lot of money, but in London, it's barely a couple of pints these days. So yeah, thank you so much. Peace out.
Where HAFEZ your weatherman? And have we got news for you? Get ready, all you lonely girls, and leave those umbrellas at home. Humidity is rising, barometer's getting low. How low, girl? According to all sources. What sources now? The street's the place to go. Better hurry up. 'Cause tonight for the first time